Okay, guys. Okay, I will be off of here. Is this it? I will be off of here before 9:30. Trust me. I don't have much. Just a quick little update from what's going on in the political news world, which some of you may know. How y'all doing? Nobody's speaking. Y'all so bougie. Why y'all being bougie? Why y'all being bougie? Anywho, we're gonna get started, honey, because I can't stay too long. You know what I want to show y'all do I want to show y'all that before I do anything else? Y'all have to go check out my short that I put up. Mm-hmm. Y'all have to check out my short that I put up. I made it on TikTok. Let me I'm not sharing no video, so let me do this. I'm gonna do present, share screen. I just want to show y'all something real quick. Go check out my my short. Check out my short. Let me do this right here. Can't stay too long. I try to keep moving. See my girl, she has us. I know that she waiting on me. With a big smile on her face, yeah. Looking real good, smelling real nice. She know I'm out on the road. I'm doing my music thing. Good things going on. All right, so that's a short I put up. It's almost at 2,000 views, I believe. But y'all go check it out. You know, over there on TikTok, you can do what you call a duet and put yourself in anything that's duetable. Okay. Hey, Miss Lillian, how you doing? Thank you for joining me, Miss Annie, Kizzy. How you doing, Kizzy? What's going on? Okay, let me go ahead and do this real quick because, like I say, I can't stay too long. Just like Snoop said, we just doing a quick little we surrender. I hear folks are surrendering around here. Some people, some people have gotten so much ammunition brought up against them, they have had to surrender. Huh. They've had to surrender. Too much ammunition. Uh-huh. So they had to surrender. You know, this is Social Justice Headquarters. Make sure you like the video, thumbs it up, and share it out if you can. This is the Social Justice Channel. Okay. But some folks have had this one particular person has finally, I surrender. You win. I can't fight no more. I can't fight no more. You win. I give in. Too much ammunition was brought against me. Is what it is. What it is. I give in. That's what they give in. Too much ammunition. I quit. You win. It is what it is. Okay? It is what it is. Too much ammunition was brought against them. Let's do this right here. Present. Okay. So too much ammunition was brought against Donald Trump. He surrendered. I know y'all didn't think I was going to surrender. I get to nobody but God himself. You can best believe it.
Back to that breaking news out of Fulton County, former President Donald Trump's bond has just been set. It's at $200,000. Joining me now is NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley, MSNBC anchor and legal contributor Katie Phang, who's outside the Fulton County Courthouse for us, and back with us, former U.S. attorney and an MSNBC legal analyst, Barbara McQuaid. So, Katie, $200,000. What else is Donald Trump not allowed to do under the terms of this bond agreement?
Yes, so Katie, we're pending confirmation of the remaining bond conditions for Donald Trump. But if they're anything like John Eastman and Scott Hall, who are two of the co-defendants for Donald Trump, if those bond conditions are similar, you're not allowed to interfere with any of the witnesses in this case. You're not allowed to violate any state or federal laws. You are required to appear when you are ordered to appear for the proceedings that are going to be going on in this case. I want to note that, as you are aware, Katie, all of the 19 co-defendants have been charged with one count of RICO. Interestingly, Donald Trump's bond on that one count is $80,000. For John Eastman, it's $20,000. And for Scott Hall, it's only $4,000. And so just a few minutes ago, we did see counsel for Donald Trump leave the DA's office. They had obviously been negotiating the terms of his bond. And what it means to us with that increased amount for Donald Trump on that count one RICO count is that obviously the DA's office told his lawyers, look, he's going to have to post a higher bond than the other defendants at this time. And we've seen that in terms of the numbers.
And that was just a short one, right? I'm back. So that was just a short one. I just kicked myself all the way out. Donald Trump has finally been charged, indicted, and all that good stuff. And he had to post bond. Yes, he did. And yes, I started the wrong live. So now I'm going to have to redo that live about the guy whose parents adopted him. Well, they didn't adopt him. They knew that adoption them folks didn't adopt him. They knew that adoption was a help. Child, you don't want no adopted child. I take that back. Anywho, they didn't adopt him. They did some type of conservatorship or something. But I started that live by mistake, so I had to end it because I was wondering why can't I see myself? Anywho, so I am going to still talk about Michael Oher and being blindsided by his fake adoptive parents who really didn't adopt him. Shout out to all of the adopted parents out there that adopt children from birth and love them like their own and pray and hope that those children will always love and treat them like a parent because they are bringing strangers into their homes. Michael Oher was a stranger to these people. Maybe that's why they didn't truly adopt him, because you never know what type of a person you're adopting. You could be adopting a maniac. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, y'all. Sometimes I digress. Yeah, what was I talking about? We will get back to the Michael Oher story, him being allegedly not adopted by the people, and that movie Blindsided that we all watched. I watched. It was a good movie. I thought he was adopted by the people and all this, that, and the other, but he wasn't. But we on Trump right now. But I started that live by mistake, so I'm going to have to recreate it. Hello, boss man. How you doing? Miss Annie is in the building. But them blindsided people, they, y'all can't see me. Y'all can't see me with me focused like this. Them blindsided people, they, I could tell you some things, honey, but I'm not going to tell you tonight. And my brother's going live, so I'm going to get off of here real quick. Y'all go check out my brother, Cooking with Comedian Michael Allen. He is reviewing the epic 10-hour live that was happened a couple of months ago. Okay, and you guys need to make sure y'all go check it out. If somebody would drop his link in the chat for me, I would appreciate it. But But this live is about Donald Trump being indicted. I know I'm digressing. I can't help myself. I'm not perfect. See, I started that Michael Oher live by mistake. I posted that a while ago. Nobody was really talking about it, and then I posted it, and everybody started doing videos about it. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. I do it sometimes just to see who's going to talk about stuff. But Michael Oher was, I don't know what happened to his real parents, but, you know, he thought he had been adopted, but he had not. And they was just like stealing all of his money, allegedly. But he thought he was adopted, but he wasn't really adopted. And so I made a joke because, you know, I don't know what type of a person he is. I don't know if he has found his natural parents, the ones that gave birth to him. But, you know, sometimes you can give birth to someone and just, it's like you didn't give birth. I'm just saying. Tonight is not the best night for me, y'all. I'm just going to keep it 100 because I feel like going in, but I'm not. So let me get back to Donald Trump before I say something that I might regret. Okay, we're going to go to the next video. This one right here. Let's look at this one right here. Let's look at this one right here. What does this one say? Donald Trump and Roger Stone. You know, Roger Stone was one of his right-hand guys. Let's listen.
Let's get right to the violence.
That's footage of Trump vet Roger Stone. As you could see from the way it was presented, that was released in those original January 6th committee hearings. Tonight, we have breaking news of additional Stone tapes airing in the U.S. for the first time. New videos show Trump advisor Roger Stone in Washington on January 6th, the day of the insurrection. And they undercut one common defense by Trump and some of his allies who did try to overthrow the election results, that they really believed Trump won, even if delusionally, that it was their actual belief. Yet, in the new video, here is Stone on January 6th, casually referring to the fact that Donald Trump lost, as he refers to they, the Trump campaign officials.
That's why they lost. They don't know what they're doing.
It's why they lost. They don't know what they're doing. Well, I'm going to show you that new tape in this moment in wider context. Stone's outburst came as he learned how they, Trump officials, welcomed support for the march on the Capitol. Not him speaking at the infamous rally that day, where the now indicted Trump, who you see on your screen giving that address, as well as the now indicted Giuliani and Eastman, spoke to the crowd, which then stormed the Capitol. So here it is in context. Stone on the 6th, learning that he was apparently not going to join them and get to speak up at that lectern that day.
I don't understand how they want us to lead the march, but they can't even tell us where to go. So it doesn't make any sense. I think you just got your answer.
That we're not speaking?
Yeah. I mean, if we were speaking, we'd have transportation, as Giuliani did. It's fun. Let's go upstairs and watch this on TV. It was very clear I was never on their list. Whole thing was a con job. No, it's infuriating. It's just childish and it's amateurish. That's why they lost. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah, I hear you. All right, I will talk to you in a bit. Yep.
You're hearing the voice of Roger Stone, who then comes in on camera. It's all picked up on audio on the phone. It's why they lost. Now, in public, Roger Stone spent months pushing the lies that Trump actually won or the race was stolen. He was one of the people touting to stop the steal online. He pushed that message out to other groups and militias that he was seen with. The footage also shows some of the tension here between Stone and the official campaign. This person, Roger Stone, was also still a convict, hoping for a full pardon from then outgoing President Trump. He wanted as well the larger role in what was becoming that post-loss havoc. Now, the next new clip we have for you is from before the actual voting, October 30th, when there were many signs that Trump could lose. There were people saying he was likely going to lose. You'll notice in what we're about to play for you, Stone seems almost resigned to that. He puts the idea of the incumbent president being reelected as more like a distant possibility. And he appears to be mulling some kind of independent action, which would overlap with what we showed you recently, the elector plot that he would push days later.
I've been really focused on trying to help Donald win this election, which, you know, and I'm doing that unofficially and informally because this campaign is so extraordinarily f***ed up. So to go back to your question, will he win? I don't know. Can he win? It's possible. I really expect a 2000-like result with a long, drawn-out squabble over who won. This is not a campaign structured for a dogfight, and that's what we have now. So independent action is required, you know?
Independent action is required. That is basically Roger Stone telling somebody what he thinks it might take. The reference to 2000 is striking. Stone was known as well for his involvement in what was sometimes called the Brooks Brothers riot, the efforts in Florida. But the big difference was 2000, whatever you think about it, did come down to one state. Nobody disagrees about that. And then contesting the results in one state of Florida, which meant if Florida went one way or the other, the whole thing, of course, would go back and forth to the different opposing candidates. 2020 proved to be nothing like that. Trump lost by 3 states. He lost badly. He lost in a way that the courts and the Supreme Court never took those appeals. So what Stone was saying right there was a version of what they hoped to create. Not that it existed, but the elector plot, getting state legislatures involved, lying about fraud in ways that other people have now been indicted for. All of that was to create a fraudulent effort to make it seem like 2000.
Thank you,
And the footage you're seeing was provided to The Beat by the filmmakers who made A Storm Foretold. And that film, that project, is not currently available in the U.S. Now, I want to remind you, Stone took the 5th when he was interviewed by the Jan 6 committee. But this and the other footage and reporting does shed more light on a story that he, through his legal rights, refused to tell Congress when it was investigating this. He is Trump's longest serving advisor. He is a convicted felon. He publicly talked up violence. He privately plotted to overthrow results in states Trump was losing or lost. That was the video we showed you last week. He was just publicly associated with extremist groups ahead of the 6th. And then what you see in these clips today is that when on the 6th he was sidelined from his hopes to speak on that same stage as Donald Trump, well, the anger kicks in. He's a human being, and he sounds like he's trying to process and absorb that in front of other people. You can interpret that however you will, whatever he thought others would think in the room, as well as the cameras rolling, something that has been a part of the Roger Stone and Donald Trump pseudo reality show for their whole adult lives. He was rejected. He was upset. And he sort of retreated to his hotel room after having worked so much behind the scenes for what he then had previously called independent action. And then when he saw the Capitol insurrection unfold on TV, well, this is where the mood did appear to change, and he wanted out, packing his bags and leaving D.C.
So independent action is required. The final decision as to who the state legislatures authorize be sent to the Electoral College is a decision made solely by the legislature. That's why they lost. They don't know what they're doing. Let's get right to the violence.
These are people from Trump on down who live and thrive through their presentation of self. Some call it propaganda, others call it a reality show, some call it just mastering whatever the mediums are of the time. They kept the cameras rolling. Many of them are now indicted, Stone facing heat, but not indicted. So the question, as always, becomes, are you sure you stand by everything you said and did with the cameras you invited in? As Sean Carter once said, the same sword that knight you can be the sword that good knights you.
Well, the same sword that ignites you could be the same sword. Thank you, boss man, for being a member for 11 months. Child, you know I want to thank you. because y'all know my support. Well, one time I was hounding the hog. I was hounding the hog as I was eating the hog. Maybe I shouldn't have been eating the hog, and I would have remained hounding the hog. I was hounding the hog. It made so many people so mad they didn't know what to do with themselves. But boss man, guess what?
I won't thank you. I won't thank you.
Well, thank you, boss man, for being a member for 11 consecutive months. Because, you know, even with all the ups and downs I've had over here, you remained a member. That means you must really like Philadelphia. You support the content that I bring. And I thank you. Boss man, thank you, Kizzy, the best moderator in the YouTube streets and the number one, production member, okay? And thank you, boss man, for the super sticker, child. You know I need it over here. In the words of my brother, shit, it's a business, child. It's a business.
I won't thank you.
It's a business.
I won't thank you.
But yes, thank you so much. I want Donald Trump to get 10 to 20 years in prison for his lying and racist profile against people of color and brown. Atlantic City, New Jersey are not his anymore. Las Vegas got half. Well, come on, somebody. Donald Davis. Okay, Donald Davis is hey, Vanessa Egger. Hey, Michael's mama. Callie girl, how you doing? Thank you for being over here. I know it's not that exciting tonight, but hey, we'll get there. All right, we almost so I just got one more video to watch, then I want y'all to go over and support my brother. He doing a live tonight. Hey there, beautiful. Just dropping through to say hi. Hey, a brilliant, blessed mess. Thank you. I appreciate you. I sure do, honey. You know I do. Okay, I got one more video. Let me see if I can find it, y'all. I had one more video to watch. Is this it? This is it right here. So let's watch this one.
So this is surrender week for Donald Trump, as well as the 18 others charged with racketeering in Georgia for plotting to steal the 2020 election. They'll have just over 3.5 days until noon on Friday to surrender at the Fulton County Jail to avoid facing arrest. We just learned that the ex-president says he will surrender in Atlanta on Thursday. Today, his lawyers were at the Fulton County Courthouse where his bond was set at $200,000. Let's just sit with that for a second. By the end of this week, the ex-president of the United States will be out on bond in yet another jurisdiction. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is also trying to stop Trump from continuing his practice of making direct or indirect threats or both against people involved in his various criminal cases. She ordered him to, quote, perform no act to intimidate any person known to him or her to be a co-defendant or witness in this case or to otherwise obstruct the administration of justice. That includes no threat of any nature against any co-defendant, against any witness, against any victim, or against the community. And it makes clear that this applies to, quote, posts on social media or reposts of posts or retweets, if you want to call them that, made by another individual. Some of Trump's 18 co-defendants also got bond orders today as well, but Trump is so far the only one with these detailed orders against making threats. I wonder why. All of this comes while the ex-president and his legal team are navigating 3 other indictments and the possibility that some of his co-defendants in Georgia may have a big incentive, a huge incentive to cooperate against him. For one thing, Trump can never pardon any of them, even if he returns to the White House, because this is a state case. And of course, all of this is just a fraction of his current legal problems. Glenn Kirshner is a former federal prosecutor and host of the podcast Justice Matters. Ankush Khardori is a former federal prosecutor and a contributing writer for New York Magazine, and both join me now. So, Glenn, I just wanted to start with these kind of warnings from the judge, because that is very strong language. We've heard it in some of these other cases. But what can she actually do, and what do you think she should do if he violates it?
You know, I don't think Fani Willis owns a pair of kid gloves. So I have a feeling if Donald Trump violates these conditions, and how could he not, Jen, right? He can't post or repost anything that might be intimidating of a witness. Not just a week ago, he did something that if he did it now, it would be prohibited by this order. He said, look, I know that former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan is about to testify before the grand jury. Quote, he shouldn't.
He's already violated it, essentially.
He would have.
He would have,
And
yes.
interestingly, that actually constitutes a violation of Georgia state law. And that could be used next week by Judge Chutkan up the street to say you did violate a
Which
condition
is
that
just
had been set
coming
for
up
you.
next Monday. And we were just talking before but during the break, I guess, about what the actual conditions or what are the consequences if your name is not Donald Trump, which is important to remember as we discuss equal justice under law. So if somebody else did this, what would happen to them?
Well, actually, we have a pretty good example that has been in the news recently. Sam Bankman-Fried was charged for a massive fraud. He was out on bail, and prosecutors alleged, and the judge agreed, that it appeared that he was attempting witness intimidation by kind of working through the press to seed some negative information about a cooperator. He was remanded. That means he was sent to jail. The judge was not happy about it, obviously, but that's what often happens to defendants who are out on bond. Honestly, in the ordinary course, it can be quite easy to violate terms of release, almost like a tripwire, and Trump is sort of getting a lot of benefit of the doubt.
You also had something you wrote interestingly recently, that the addition of defendants creates pressure and incentives for those people to cooperate against the biggest target, which in this case is clearly Trump. I referenced, of course, in Georgia, he can't pardon them. What are the other incentives?
Well, I mean, there's the traditional set of incentives, and this applies at the federal and the state level. Anytime you have a large multi-defendant case and there's a lead defendant, right, and Trump is undoubtedly the lead defendant here, right, there's an incentive for everyone else who might have information on him to try to cooperate against that person to get cut themselves a break at the end of the day. It's purely self-interest. It's not an act of altruism, right? They've been charged, and if they need to be sentenced one day after a conviction, they're going to want all of the credit and goodwill that they can generate with prosecutors. So that tends to be the normal calculus.
So, Glenn, there's been a whole back and forth about the timeline here. That's a very diplomatic way of saying this, given Trump's team has asked for a trial in 2026.
Wait a minute. Thank you. First of all, thank you, Vanessa, for the super sticker. I want to thank you, girl. Vanessa Edgar, Cali girl, my brother's mama, who stepped up and stepped in. Okay, thank you for being there for my bro. Thank you for the super sticker.
I want to thank you.
But did that woman just say, dang, where am I looking for? Did she just say timeline? Can't nobody say timeline but UP around here. She said the timeline. I'm not going to rewind it. We're going to get on back to the video. We're going to get back to the video. But I heard her say timeline, and you already know. You already know. Okay.
Jack Smith's team replied and said that's bogus. That date is going to be set, or we expect that date to be set coming up next Monday. What do you think is going to happen here? What's kind of a viable timeline for a trial?
Well, let's look at what Judge Chutkan said previously. She said, if the defendant continues to say things, to post things that might interfere with our ability to pick a fair and impartial jury, might poison the jury pool, might intimidate witnesses, I will accelerate the trial date. He has done some of those things. So I have a feeling Judge Chutkan is going to set a trial date in early 2024. I also think when the defense team, Trump's defense team, throws out a date that's 2.5 to 3 years down the road, April 2026, it sort of shows that they're not really engaged in legitimate lawyering. I mean, it really feels like they're assistant campaign chairman at this point. It feels so
ludicrous a little bit.
And that will help, I think, push Judge Chutkan to an earlier trial date if they're not really trying to legitimately present a trial date that, is an honest assessment of how much time they think they're going to need. So I can't wait until next Monday. I want to see what Judge Chutkan does. But I think she understands that everybody, including the American people, have a keen interest in getting this case resolved well in advance of the 2024 election.
Do you agree on the timeline early next year?
I do agree if it's feasible. I mean, I think out of all of these cases, I think the strongest imperative by far concerns the January 6th, federal January 6th case and bringing that case to trial ideally as quickly as possible. And I also agree that, the setting of a trial date, anytime you have kind of litigation and competing positions of parties, can be a bit like settlement or like a bid and ask sort of scenario, right? Prosecutors have put forward a date. Trump's lawyers have put forward a date that's so absurd that I think Chutkan will just set it aside, or it's very probable she'll set it aside, and that really sort of the main kind of center of gravity is going to be the prosecutor's proposal. I have no idea how it will be resolved, but she does seem to have a keen awareness of the significance of this case and its importance to the country.
Before I let you go in my legal education this evening, I wanted to ask you about Mark Meadows, because there's a range of reporting about him cooperating, not cooperating, sharing information, not. We don't entirely know the totality of it. But for each of you, and I'm going to start with you, Glenn, what's the best case scenario for Mark Meadows?
He's in such a curious posture right now. This is like an action-adventure legal thriller, because all indicators were that he was cooperating with Jack Smith in the federal case, both in Washington and in the documents case in Florida. And then all of a sudden, he pops up as a charged RICO defendant in Georgia. Now, I will say, when I had defendants and they had criminal exposure in multiple jurisdictions, I worked very hard to try to strike a global plea agreement that would resolve all of their criminal exposure so we could kind of keep our cooperator close. That doesn't seem to be the case right now. So it feels like maybe he is helping Jack Smith. Maybe he has not yet formalized a cooperation agreement. And Jack Smith has said, until that happens, you just go ahead and take care of your own little problems down in Georgia, and maybe we'll circle back on that.
Okay, and that was the last video that I had, guys. This short live was about only been on 34 minutes. Donald Trump, being indicted, and Georgia coming for him. He every which way but loose. They coming for him. Okay, him inciting the riot in Washington that day. He was behind it all. He really was. I mean, I'm just saying. Now all of the ammunition has been used against him. Sometimes people will give folks ammunition to use against you. And if you're not strong, you can't fight that ammunition. But some folks strong, and it don't matter what kind of ammunition you give. You still gonna lose. Okay, just like Trump. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys have a wonderful night. I'm probably gonna pop up on my brother's live tonight because it's still early. It's just 9:30. Go check out Cooking with Comedian Michael Allen. Finding love, child. He looking for love. He looking for love, honey. I hope he find it. Kizzy dropped his link. Thank you, our brilliant independent thinker, boss man, Kizzy, everybody that Smitty, for everybody that stopped in to say hi to me. Look, I know it's not like the old days with 2,000 up in here, but I'm still the same person that brought you there. Don't think I can't do it again. Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all later. We're going to head on over we're going to go find love. Well, I got love. Some people looking for love. They looking for love in the YouTube streets. They looking for love anywhere they can get it. Everybody becomes somebody to them. What's a person to do? Make sure y'all go check out my short that I did from what do you call it? TikTok with Snoop Dogg. That's what I want y'all to go check out. I'm gonna show it to y'all before I get off. I'm gonna show it to y'all one more time. One more time before I leave. I'm gonna show it to you guys. So I'm gonna make this big right here. Yes, I am, and I'm gonna scroll down because I got 1.6 thousand views. Okay.
Can't stay too long. I gotta keep moving. See my girl, she has love. I know that she waiting on me. With a big smile on her face, looking real good, smelling real nice. She know I'm out on the road, doing my music thing.
Snoop say he know his girl. You know, Snoop been with the same woman since high school. Him and Ice Cube. You know, good men. They done fought through whatever because you know they done had problems down the way because you can have problems and just been living with somebody for 3 years and have problems. You know what I'm saying? Hint, hint. But they've been together for so long and they have managed to stay together. And you can't do nothing but look at me and Snoop Dogg. It looked like Snoop Dogg was right there behind me, and I'm looking at myself on the TV right now. It looked like Snoop wife gonna come slap the taste out of my mouth. But you know, it is what it is. Kids say thank you all for coming over, supporting EWPP. Good night. Yes, thank you, kids. Thank you so independent thinking got that chair because you know what happens when you pull a chair out. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to get in trouble. You go, PP. Yes, category baby. Me and Snoop was kicking it. Y'all go run them views up on my short. Okay. It's on TikTok too. I got the same name everywhere, Equal Philly Field. And go run it up. All right, it has been fun. And with that being said, we're gonna end it now. Go over to my brother's channel. Let me pull up my brother's channel. Let me just see what's going on over here before I go. 4C Gang. Hold up. 4C Gang. For life, everything might. It's upcoming. Okay. So his live is upcoming. Let me do present. Share to screen. He reviewing. We did a 10-hour. He had a 10-hour live not long ago. Let me notify me because baby, I want to see this here. But that live will be coming up. Okay. He's reviewing this 10-hour live that he did, that he had. And it was epic. It really was. Shawanda's in the building. Let me get in the building. Hey, wait a minute. Why I'm not typing? There you go. I say, hey, bro, Mars and chat. So, yeah. Oh, look at kids on nothing. Put the TikTok. Yeah, y'all go subscribe to my TikTok channel thing. Thank you, Kizzy. I want to get a lot of people on TikTok too, honey. Check me out on TikTok. 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 Where Miss Lorraine at? Where's Z-Braids at? Y'all better come on in here. Y'all missing a good one. Them my girls. Okay. We finna get out of here. Y'all go check out Michael's video. He will be live in a moment. Let me see. When is he gonna be live? What does this say? It says live in 15 minutes, child. Oh, it's going down. So on this particular live that he's reviewing, it was epic. It was truly epic because he had someone on his panel that he thought was his good friend at that time that was really a snake in the grass. Now she calling herself, I am the mama. She's the mama that likes her daughter's boyfriend's eggplant. This is social justice. Let me get off of here before I do something. I'm going to holler at y'all later because, y'all, I'm about to go there. Whew, I'm gonna have to hurry up and get over to Michael's channel because I got something to say about hot cocoa. that's not so hot. I holla. Shout out to Loca and UP and Too Strong and Boy Stop Capping and Heidi and Psychology East. Shout out to everybody. I ain't mad at nobody. Shit. Who gonna check me? Bye-bye.